Good afternoon, everyone. This is Debbie Henderson from Debbie's Designs. Welcome to my afternoon tea time and a card. I'm so glad you're joining me. I'm going to give it a few more seconds for everyone to join in. Okay, I'm going to get started. I know a lot of you guys are working and you're going to watch this later. So today what I'm doing is creating a card. I've already told you guys ahead of time. I'm going to show you how to create a Punch Art Hydrangea. And this is the card I'm making today. Let me give you a close-up of the flower to show you how pretty that is. Isn't that neat? It's got a lot of height, so you'd have to put some packaging there not to squish it, or you could hand it out in person. So let me show you what I'm using today. I'm using the Gingham Gala designer paper, and I'm using the Highland Heather sheet. I'm using these two dies. This is the one I used yesterday on the card yesterday if you watched me live. It comes from the Sunshine Wishes Thinlits dies. And this die actually comes from the Climbing Orchid stamp set. I'm actually using the leaf image from the stamp set. And then I'm using the dies that coordinate with this stamp set. And I'm also using the Enjoy Today sentiment. I've got the punch pack from the Occasions catalog. This actually has 4 punches. I'm using the one with the bolder flower for my hydrangea today. I've got rhinestone jewels, mini dimensionals, and for ink colors, I'm using Highland Heather and Granny Apple. Good afternoon, everyone. I can see some of you coming on. Now, I am going to use the Big Shot today, just to cut out the 2 leaves that you see here on the card. I'm using the thick Whisper White for my card base. This measures 11 by 4 1/4, and I'm going to score that at 5 1/2. So let me go ahead and fold that. Now my gingham paper measures 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I'm going to use the larger print this time just to show you the difference. So let me go ahead and glue that on. And that's going to be the same size as the whole card front. Now I may need to trim just a little bit on the end here. So you guys, it's snowing here in Maine. Can you believe we're in the month of April and we have about 4 inches of snow that has come down already today? It's just crazy. Now I'm going to bring in Highland Heather ink. And I'm going to do the sentiment. If you joined me live yesterday, I made a boo-boo on my card and I did fix it. I'm going to show you that in a minute. Okay, there's that pretty sentiment. Isn't that a pretty font? And again, if you're just chiming in, that is from the Climbing Orchid stamp set. Okay, now just one more image we have to stamp. This time with the Granny Apple. And I'm going to stamp 2 leaves. And then I'll bring the Big Shot in just for the 2 leaves, so that won't take very long. So let me move all of this aside. So for you guys that have sunshine today, don't rub it in because like I said, we're dealing with more snow. I don't think spring is ever going to get here. Okay, now I'm cutting the leaves. So we got 2 of them. I think I'm the one that jinxed the snow because I took our dog Ruger out for a walk yesterday and I put a picture on Facebook to show everybody that I could see the dirt finally. So now the dirt is covered with white snow. I think I jinxed it. Okay, so there's my 2 leaves. So very little stamping today. Now let me bring, oh, I forgot one thing. I gotta bring the Big Shot back out. So I wanted a really nice looking stem on my card. So that's where this die comes in. I'm actually just going to cut the stem part. You can see that I did it right here. Oops, upside down. Okay, now let me bring my paper piercer in so I can poke that out. Okay, so there's my cute little stem. Next, I'm going to use the little flower punch. I'm just going to punch a couple out because through the magic of videoing, I've got some ahead of time. So you can see how easy these are to cut out. So let me bring everything back in here. So I've gone ahead and done a whole bunch of the flowers because I didn't want you to have to watch me do, I think I have about 30 flowers here. Now the way to do this, because let me see if I can bring one close up. You can see that they look like they're 3D. They're kind of popping upwards. Now I have this tool that I've had for a long time, but if you have something round like this, it's a bigger ball than what's on our scoring tool. That's what I use, and all I do is go in a circular motion. See how you're going to see it go round and round. So I just press really hard, and that's what makes the shape of my flower. See how easy that was? So if you can find something with a bigger ball, even if you don't have one of these tools, sometimes you can, I think even the end of the paper piercer might work. Yes, it would. So if you have a paste, anything that's rounded on the end. And then all I did was I took the mini dimensionals, put one on the bottom of each flower. And I might have more flowers here than I need because it's probably going to be difficult to completely replicate the way I did it here. Okay, so now I'm going to bring in the Whisper White layer. I'm going to glue that in place. And I kind of just eyeball it, and I'm using the lines of the gingham. So that's going to go right there. Next, I'm going to add the stem. And it doesn't matter that there's a little bit of cardstock hanging on the top here because it's going to be covered anyway. That's going to go right there. Next, I'm going to glue the 2 leaves in place. Libby, your screen is frozen. That usually means it's your internet, I'm sorry to say, because mine is fine. Is anybody else frozen up? Okay, so there's my 2 leaves. Now I'm going to start placing my flowers, and how I did it is I started about 1 inch above the leaves. And I just kind of crowded them together. And I'm trying to create like an oval shape like you see here that I did on card number 1. Okay, Libby, everybody else is saying the video is fine on their end, so it's got to be your internet. Okay, so I'm going to keep building my flower. You can see how easy this is. Now this would make a great Mother's Day card because Mother's Day is just around the corner. And then I did a similar one years ago, and I also went in and added the little tiny pearl jewels. I added some inside of the flowers also. Now, what I also did, I'm going to do a little bit more here, and then I'll show you something else that I did to make it look even more 3D-ish. And I'm going to bring the punches back in, even though there's 4. This one here, of course, would be the little stems in the center of the flowers, but all 3 of these you could use to do your hydrangea with. I've got little mini dimensional backing papers all over the place here, all over my counter. So you can see how my flower is starting to take shape. And let's see, I feel I need a little bit more, maybe on this side. So like I said, I started with, I think I punched out about 30 of them. Okay, now what I did to make this even look more cool is I added some on top of the ones that I've already got glued down, just to give it some more dimension. So you can see by adding these 2 on top, it pops it up even more. So I'm going to add just a few more. I mean, you could go crazy with this. You can just keep adding and adding. Okay, I've got one more here that has a little sticky on it, so I'm going to add that one in there too. Oops, I didn't take the backing off that one. Okay, so you can see how different they look. Now, my last little tip, I'm using the Granny Apple Green. This is the dark marker. I wanted some rhinestones the same color as my leaves, so I'm actually going to color my rhinestones. Because these are alcohol based, they color really well. See how that adds a nice green tint to it? And then I'm going to add just 3 to the background. Whoops, that one stuck on my finger. And there you go, there's my hydrangea. How do you like that? And I wanted to bring the card back in from yesterday. Remember when I did the alcohol blends markers smushing technique? I had messed up on my sentiment, and I just wanted to show you that I did fix it. And this is the same die that I used today for the stem. So anyway, that's my card for today. I hope you guys give it a try. If you don't have these punches, any of the smaller punches that you may have, the flower shaped, and then, like I said, just use something that has a round tip. I'm pretty sure that you'll be able to do it with the paper piercer. And if you do, go ahead and make one of these. I would love to see a picture of what you created, and I'd love you to put it on our Stampin' Ink Designs group page. So thanks so much for joining me, everyone. Have a good remainder of the day. Goodbye.